Okay, this is a reaction video. This is another one from Passport 2. How Germans email, text, and use phones totally different than Americans. Well, I don't really know how you would use them differently than I would, but okay, let's find out. How Germans email, text, and use phones totally different from Americans. Passport 2. Please click like, share, and subscribe for them. And please click like, share, and subscribe for me as well.
Technology continues to influence how people communicate, and we've noticed some very interesting ways Germans and Americans have embraced this. Both cultures have adopted unique means in which we talk to each other electronically, and well, Germans and Americans text, email, and call each other very differently.
Now, with my phone here, I just, text. I don't know that there's a different way of doing it, but maybe I'm going to learn something that I didn't know.
Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. I am Donnie.
And I'm Aubrey.
And we are two Americans currently living in Germany and sharing all of our experiences living and traveling throughout Europe. There are obvious differences in how Americans and Germans communicate in person, namely, we speak a different language, but there are obvious other differences that everybody is already aware of when it comes to directness, small talk, or social behavior. However, as the world rapidly communicates more and more digitally, well, Germany is a little slower than the rest of the world.
Oh, really? I didn't know, didn't realize Germany was a backwater culture. Okay.
Our two
He said it, not me.
Cultures have adopted some striking differences in how we communicate this way that have been very difficult for us to get used to after moving to Germany. For example, in the US, we were used to answering the phone one specific way, but then moved to...
Most people answer the phone in the United States by just saying hello. Now, it's changed. Okay, back in the day, it was just hello, or my parents made us say a different greeting or like that. Nowadays, if somebody calls me on this, I know who's calling me. Okay, I can see their name, especially if they, assuming they're my, other people who might be, if it's spam, it lets me know it's spam. But I generally know who's calling me, so it's not a question of, hey, if it's my brother, if it's my sister, if it's my mom, it's my dad, it's my friend, it's my girlfriend, whatever. I can see who it is, so it's a little bit different.
To Germany and discovered we need to relearn how to answer a phone call in order to fit in here. And that is exactly what we are going to talk about today in our video. Can you hear me now? Good.
You have Merkel and the guy from in America from the Can You Hear Me Now commercial? Huh.
Our experiences are definitely specific to where we are originally
They're from Oklahoma.
from, a state in the southern U.S. called Oklahoma, and where we live now in the southwestern German state of Rhineland Falls. Both of these places have their own unique subcultures that may not be representative of the two countries as a whole. Therefore, let us know your experiences with these things in the comments below and where you're from. Also, if you're from a different country than these two,
And of course, I've learned that Germany is very regional, and so maybe different regions have different ways of doing things.
want to hear about what these things are like where you live.
We recently did a video on awkward social interactions we find ourselves in Germany when we don't understand there are cultural differences in certain situations that seem like ones we would be used to in the US, but then we are suddenly thrust into an uncomfortable social interaction when we assume wrong and do something culturally unacceptable. Well, this first difference could have been included in that video because of the number of Germans we had confused and created an awkward moment when we answer our phone how we normally would in the US by just saying, hello?
In the US, there are multiple different ways you can answer the phone.
Yeah, I mean, I used to say, what up or hey. When I was growing up, my parents made us say, our residence, and then this is Scott speaking, or my sister, this is Nancy speaking, or my brother, this is Steve speaking. But nowadays, nowadays, like I said, you know who's calling you because most people don't use landlines in the United States. There are people who still do, but most people don't.
phone, but a simple hello is the most common. This is particularly true nowadays in the US, where landlines are very quickly going extinct and every person has their own individual phone number. In 2004, over 90% of households in the US had an operational landline. That figure has plummeted drastically to about 40%. So nowadays, Americans just think if a person has your number and is calling you, they know specifically who will be answering the phone, and therefore you don't need to say who is on the line when you pick up. This is still true even if the number is unknown, but if it is an unknown number calling, you can answer the phone by saying your name, but it will normally be your first name, like, hello, this is Aubrey, for example. Other variations could
He just doesn't look like Aubrey to me.
be, hey, what's up? If it's a friend calling, or Donnie's somewhat unique answer for friends and families is always, what are you doing? Or if you are expecting a call, just a very informal and simple yeah would suffice.
In Germany, where they have the different formal and informal ways of addressing people with du or sie, it is most common to answer the phone with your last name. Examples would be Guten Tag Schmidt, or Hallo Schmidt, or even just simply Schmidt. Owning and using landline.
Okay, that would be me just saying my last name. My father used to answer the phones like that.
Is also decreasing in Germany, but at a much slower rate than in the US. In 2020, roughly 85.3% of German households owned at least one landline phone, a decrease compared to the previous year at 86.4%. Growing up, my father answered our landline with our last name, and to this day, if he gets a call from an unknown number, he will answer with his last name, just like is more typical in Germany. So
Yeah, my father used to do it like that, but yeah, again, these are just little differences. Like, I guess if I was living in Germany, I'd have to learn how to answer the phone properly or something like that. Or maybe I just do it my own way. I mean, it wouldn't really be a secret that I'm from the United States of America. I do things in my own way. I suppose conforming would be a good thing to do, but that's down to personal preference, I think.
So there are definitely exceptions, but these are what are the most common in both countries.
This is one thing that I can never remember in Germany, and when I answer the phone with a simple hello, it normally is followed by a second or two of awkward silence on the other side of the line as the German caller is trying to figure out if they have the right number, if I'm going to continue on to my name, or if they should just go ahead and start with what they wanted to say. Of course, as technology changes, even in Germany, it is becoming a little more common for friends to answer each other with a simple hello or yeah, but the evolution is slower than in the US for a multitude of reasons, like the slower transition away from older technology such as landlines, even though most people also have a cell phone, known as a handy in German. So
Yeah, in Britain they call it a mobile. We call it cell phone, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that comes down to how you answer the phone and how people do things, and you do things a little bit differently. So I mean, I think they they would learn. Not really learn, but if you're from another country, that you might do things a little bit differently.
of course, we want to know from you, how do you answer your phone? And how does it change depending on who is calling or what phone you're answering? In another form of communication, emails, there are three main differences we have noticed and find particularly interesting. First, for the first line in an American email, you capitalize the first word at the start of the sentence. However, in German emails, the first letter of the first sentence is lowercase.
Sometimes emails seem to be going away. I used to do a lot of emails, but I didn't really care if I capitalized them. Maybe I do, but my father sent me an email. My dad would write literally a big novel about what we're going to do if we're meeting up somewhere and stuff like that, and I would just write, okay, Scott, that's it. Almost like a text.
Using a capitalized letter here will be an immediate giveaway that you are not a native German speaker.
Second, this first sentence in American emails is typically some sort of small talk. That could be, hope you had a great weekend. How are you and your family? Or can you believe we are going into another lockdown? Hope you're handling it well. The actual purpose of the email will then follow the introductory chit-chat. In contrast, German emails will typically get straight to the point. The first sentence,
I guess that maybe because that's what I do. I just get straight to the point. Now, if I'm writing an email, it's do you blah blah. I don't give a lot of small talk in my emails.
of the email will be just like when you're talking to a person in Germany, where they don't beat around the bush and immediately get down to business.
Third, German sign-offs are fairly predictable as everybody tends to use the exact same ones like viele Grüße, liebe Grüße, or mit freundlichen Grüßen as a couple of examples. But the unique thing about German sign-offs are the use of abbreviations. These tend to be used more with informal emails, but examples would be simply VG for viele Grüße, LG for liebe Grüße, or sometimes MFG for mit freundlichen Grüßen.
Again, no, I don't send a whole lot of emails. The last email that I sent, I'll take a look at my because I got my phone out here. Let's see here. Now, my mother just sent me a link in my email. But the last email that I sent, I'm going to go, let's see here, sent. Yeah, the last email that I sent, it was about when I was on jury duty. And my email, somebody, I just wrote, I got right to the point. Did I get paid on Wednesday? And then wrote my name, Scott. That's it. That's my email. I didn't add anything or do anything crazy.
Bruce in informal emails that are a little more casual. For American emails, there really aren't any abbreviations for sign-offs, and you would always write them out like, kind regards, thanks, talk to you soon, etc. Emails seem
Again, I don't do anything like that.
to land somewhere in between a formal letter and an informal text message, so the use of abbreviations makes sense for direct and efficient German, saving time, but for us, it took a little time to get used to because we're used to seeing abbreviations only in texts, and it felt like emails should be written out completely, but we also don't have super strong emotional feelings about how one signs off from an email. But there are some
But again, like I said, that's, again, these are just little knickknacks that basically give you away where you're from. I mean, because I would imagine if you're in Germany and you get an email like that, you're probably saying, what's all this? And probably Americans.
Some who think American email sign-offs will head that direction as they become more and more like text messages, but abbreviations just haven't really caught on yet.
Of course, one of the
And the things that's taking over emails are text, because you can talk directly to the individual. If I want to talk to my brother right now, I can just send him a text. I don't need to send him an email. He's not always going to be looking at his email, or he may look at it a couple hours from now. But if I send a text, he's likely to have his phone on him and be able to respond much faster.
The most prevalent electronic communication styles today is through texting. In our personal experience, we haven't noticed a big difference between the actual text that Germans and Americans write, but there is a big difference in literally how we send texts. When we started traveling, and more specifically when we moved to Germany, we had to download a texting app on our phones for the first time.
As of the third quarter,
Yeah, they use WhatsApp, and let me see if I have that. I think I do. And I never use it. Okay, I've never used WhatsApp. Let's see here. Do I have it? Don't see it. Let's see here. And I don't want to take up too much of your time as I look for this on my phone. There's a Cash App. No, I don't think I do have it. I think I have I have all the apps that all the apps that I have on my phone are apps that I would use. But I have heard that in Germany that they use WhatsApp more than anything else. I just use my regular messages, okay? But that's really all I use.
of 2020, the most popular social media platform in Germany was WhatsApp, with 87% of German internet users surveyed claiming they used the app. Whenever you get someone's number in Germany, you nearly always immediately add them on WhatsApp. This may seem unusual to German viewers, but we actually have to explain for our American audience that WhatsApp is a messaging app similar to iMessage or Facebook Messenger,
And it was started in the United States, but it's not really used in the United States.
that you must download from an app store that you can make texts or calls on. We also, of course, have to point out the irony in the fact that WhatsApp was developed in California and is
Okay, I lied. Just found it. I knew I thought I had it on here, but if I looking at my, there it is right there. You can see that WhatsApp is right there, and let's see how many of my friends use WhatsApp. Okay. Communication. Yeah. Nope, don't see a whole lot of people that use WhatsApp in my. No.
Is now owned by Facebook, also an American company, yet its popularity is essentially completely outside of the US.
In the US, Facebook Messenger is the most popular messaging app, but really most
I have that as well. I know I have that one, but I don't use that at all. In fact, I probably get about, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 from Facebook Messenger on a yearly basis. Most of mine comes from the Messenger on the iPhone.
Most people don't use a third-party messaging app, but rather just use the phone's texting service or iMessage if they have iPhones. DigitalTrends.com wrote, "Why is WhatsApp practically unknown in the US, the world's largest economy? Why is WhatsApp not also the default for messaging as it is elsewhere in the world? The answer, it seems, is a complicated cocktail of worldwide telecommunication development mixed with American travel habits, or rather the lack thereof." DigitalTrends.com also explained it this way: "One of the reasons why the US never got into messaging services that are popular in other places is that two things work really well here: texting and Messenger."
And of course, when in the United States, as most people are, like if you find something that you use and you're married to that, you're not gonna change it a lot. And that's the same way with me with Messenger. I don't need to, I'm not gonna go download. Even though I downloaded WhatsApp, I forget why I did it. I'm not going to just change. Everybody uses their own way to text message, and it doesn't matter how you receive it, whether you get it through WhatsApp or whatever. It's just the way I do it, and it's the way I've always done it, and I'm not going to change just because the rest of the world does WhatsApp.
Said Srinivasan, referring to both the iMessage and Facebook Messenger apps. Texting was an expensive proposition in other parts of the world, but people here in the US don't see the need for another platform. A majority of Americans also don't have a need to message outside of the US, unlike Europeans who routinely do, purely based on the size of America and European countries.
Yeah, because if you look at Europe, look at Germany. I mean, you got Poland. I don't know if Italy borders you, but you've got Switzerland, France, Belgium, the Netherlands. You may have different friends with different nationalities, and so they may use WhatsApp. That's the only thing they use, so that's how you might communicate with them. But in the United States, it doesn't work like that.
In comparison. Therefore, there isn't a need for a third-party app to send messages outside of the US if a US phone plan doesn't offer international messaging.
For us, we've always had iPhones, and so do nearly all of our American contacts. We therefore have almost always used iMessage to message people, and it's funny to us coming from that environment to Europe, where we have European friends that have iPhones but still message us on WhatsApp rather than the built-in messaging service.
Which also brings a question, because if you got an iPhone and it has the message it's right there. It pretty much comes with the phone. Why would you download? Well, I guess because everybody else does it. I mean, it's just something that everybody else uses. So I think I answered my own question.
Essentially, iMessage has become our messenger for our American contacts, and WhatsApp is our messaging platform for our European contacts.
Yeah, I guess if I ever get some, because I don't have a whole lot of friends I don't have any friends that live in Europe. I don't know. I mean, I apart from the people that watch this show in Europe and post on my in the comments below, which I appreciate, by the way. I don't really know anybody over in Europe.
We know there are other messaging services out there, so which one do you use the most?
I already answered that question.
So before you make your next phone call or send an email or text your friend overseas, it may be important to look up how different cultures actually communicate to make sure you aren't making any faux pas, or that you are using the right messaging services so that they will even be able to receive what you're wanting to send them.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Look, if I was going to another country, I generally would probably be going with somebody that I know, and we would have that worked out. But that's actually good advice. Wherever you go, no matter where you go in the world, whether it's to Europe, Africa, South America, the Far East, Asia, and South Korea. You certainly go to North Korea. And it's something that I believe you always do research. Find out the little things that they do, and find out what would make sense. Especially if you're going to be with somebody who lives over there, and you want to. I mean, again, look, when I travel to California, and with my cousin, this doesn't happen very often, to be honest with you. But I want to make sure that I'm on the same page of a few things, and we generally are. It's probably not as drastic as going over to another country, but it is something to look at, to do your research on where you're going and what they do.
Subjects and what differences you have noticed in how different people communicate. Also, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed it, and to see who made it this far in the video, Apple or Android. Which
I think I've already answered that question as well. Apple.
platform do you use? Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in our next video.
Cheers!
Okay, again, this was Passport 2, how Germans email, text, and use phones totally different than Americans. They do a great job, and their channel should be supported. So please click like, share, and subscribe for them. Please click like, share, and subscribe for me as well. And this was good. Have a good rest of your day, and thanks for watching.